first is from Nature's Mirror, An Ecology of Body, Mind, and Soul by Stephanie Sorrell, a White Eagle brother. Chapter 3, The Tree is Model, Death Anxiety. The tree is a template for our process, and if we are very much in tune with nature, we will find that our own process is in harmony with nature, as in seasonal affective disorder, where there is often a need to hibernate and sleep. And within this template, there is no such thing as death, only a steady unfolding, shedding and rooting process. From the long wait, the aridity of winter, new life is waiting underneath to push through in the form of buds. If you look carefully at a tree, these buds exist in juxtaposition with the leaf that is getting ready to fall. The fallen leaves return to the ground, forming a mulch, a compost, in which insect life, worms, a myriad of other creatures feed from. And now that the leaves have fallen, the waiting buds can slowly swell into ripeness, which in turn open into blossom before ripening into the fruit ready for the harvest. What has not been harvested falls and becomes food for wildlife, birds, squirrels, hedgehogs, foxes, ladybees, and wasps. What is left becomes compost for the earth, and the seeds themselves lie in the earth waiting for their time to come. Each year the cycle begins again, part of a continuous process from bud to harvest and leaf fall. Death does not enter into the equation because it is all part of a continuous process. In chapter 9, The Fall, Stripping, she says, the leaves fall because they have served their purpose as a part of the tree. The tree has synthesized the light, and the leaves have harvested it and breathed their life-giving oxygen into our tired air. True leaving is an endless journeying because everywhere we go, we leave part of ourselves behind. Whether we journey to the local shops or to a holiday villa abroad or simply navigate the internet, we leave something of ourselves there, either in the air we breathe, a fragrance, a footfall, epidermal cells, money, or an email address. And that calling card, whatever form it takes, becomes synthesized into information or another product. We shed bits of ourselves as we go, which become integrated into the environment, recycled in some way. She goes on to say, each time we say goodbye to our friends, and loved ones, we die a little to them. And if we return to each other, we will never be quite the same again, neither will they. That is why we use the phrase, the word, goodbye, God be with you, to remind each other of our true nature, our inner divinity, which is the bond we share with all living creatures. And if we cannot recognize this core of essential being within ourselves, then how can we recognize it in others? All others, not just family and friends. The falling of leaves reminds us of the cyclical processes we undergo in the metabolism of the soul. In this context, I feel the need to bring in the importance and difficulty of letting go of beliefs. These beliefs may be about ourselves, the people around us, or the world we live in. Often the most entrenched beliefs are the most resistant to being uncovered. This is understandable when we realize our understanding of the world is based largely on beliefs rather than direct knowledge. A belief serves us in the beginning by creating a sense of connection with the world or each other, but sometimes when beliefs have outlived their usefulness, they become destructive mindsets. Rather than keeping us safe, they keep us in prison. We can understand how resistant beliefs are when we see that largely ethnic wars are based on poorly informed beliefs. If we really believed in the true brotherhood, we would seek to understand each other and include difference rather than use it as a line of division. Sometimes our beliefs can be so resistant that their presence jeopardizes any further growth, so that it takes something like a mental or emotional breakdown to initiate a much-needed breakthrough in consciousness. In the book Sunrise, White Eagle points out that Jesus did not divide life into segments, but considered human existence as a whole. He had learned the secrets of the perfect life and the secret of control over all aspects of himself. In him there was no separation, for the Christ within him had revealed the whole of universal life. There was no need for him to speak about here and hereafter, when to him death did not exist and life was eternal. White Eagle on Living in Harmony with the Spirit, chapter 9 says, life goes on, ever evolving, ever unfolding. Never think of that life is coming to an end. The decay you see, particularly in the autumn before the winter rest comes, is truly very lovely. Decaying things are in reality beautiful because decay makes room for something new and more beautiful still. Remember, the leaves fall because the new life is pushing them off. Nature's decay is nature's rebirth, and with the decay of all physical things, God makes new life. In order to have new things, you must push the old away. The old has to withdraw or be gradually absorbed by the new. This applies to members of humanity as well as to nature. We hope you will always try to think of it in this way. Even when you lose loved ones, remember that their physical form is dissolved into something new, not an unhappy state, but a new and glorious one. Thought I was going to do this earlier, but Joni and I wrote a song, and it's kind of, well, it's a part of our story, and this place plays a major part in our story. It's called Born in Bay City. She was saying, he was saying so long to his mama. She had just said goodbye to her man at a little round church for the light on a surge. Neither had much of a plan. She heard him sing those old hymns. He saw her face, the sunshine. Wasn't too long, she was singing along. 40 nights, hard to unwind, looking for a place to go home. Walking this world all alone. The wrong key with the rich tone. Like seeds cast on stone. She was born in Bay City. He's from San Antonio. She wanted to learn some guitar. He knew a little to teach. There was much to consider. What's sweet without bitter is that Christ star within reach. For getting too old, they've grown. Money and chances were blown. A light on the path was shown. Dice were thrown. She was born in Bay City. He's from San Antonio. There are things they can't condone, like living life on a cell phone, throwing that mojo. East Cod Road home. But she was born in Bay City. He's from San Antonio. She was born in Bay City.
our stories, singing our songs, I want to say thank you to Jean Febb. Her patchwork quilt, as she calls her own story, included a panel where I, led by my own love and kinship with Earth's creatures and wolves in particular, was first brought to St. Francis Wolf Sanctuary after meeting Jean in a health food store one Thursday in mid-September of 2005. And then I was in this lodge on Sunday, and I've been here ever since. And this is where I also met my husband, Danny. And the wolves are teachers and protectors in many traditions, and these are traits they passed on in their genetics and their teaching of each other. And Jean, thank you for reintroducing me to my family, and for your guidance and for your inspiration, which has been pivotal to me, to say the least. The intertwining of our personal stories seem to combine to create an ongoing collective saga, where the unifying theme is one of interconnection and interpenetration, a love. And it moves in such a way that it unifies all beginnings and endings and the dance in between. And to me, God equals life, which also equals love. They're interchangeable words. I'm grateful to this church, where different perspectives are welcome. And being part of a living body, I imagine the different ways of perceiving as the different organ systems seeing the world and responding in its way for the betterment of the body. If I say something that doesn't resonate with you, by all means, follow your truth that you are shown. Ultimately, we must trust in each other's and God's goodwill. Isn't life wonderful? All the correlations and correspondences. Both science and spiritual knowledge tell us of an unfolding that was set in motion at the dawn of time. Matter, from the Latin mater, or mother, is the archetypal mother that contains our stories, particular and collective. Accomplished songwriters know that a song is successful when others can relate and hear their own stories and the experiences of the song. Matter is working, I imagine, like a mom on her children's scrapbook, recording the memories, our memories of accomplishment and joy, our educational milestones, even our bruises and scraped knees. I see life itself as the repository of experience, written on a double spiral, a record, the Akashic, a book of life, all the way back to when the matter, calcium, carbon, phosphorus, oxygen, helium, all the elements that make up our bodies were forged in stars. In Shintoism in Japan, it tells us that matter responds to our thought, our gratitude. And Danny and I remind each other all the time, good thought, God thought. Good thought, God thought. And we keep telling each other that so that what we leave behind are good stories, and we put that out into the world. And just as the colors of a rainbow are from the same light, though the red and violet are on opposite edges, I see matter and spirit as being on a continuum and in relationship to one another, like a feedback loop. Spirit infuses and affects matter, and matter informs spirit, and we record and we transmit what spirit would have us do if we're open to that. I feel they are inseparable as a convex and concave side of the same lens on a pair of glasses. There's a bodywork field called somatic archaeology developed by Ruby Gibson, author of the book My Body, My Earth, the practice of somatic archaeology. She explains that somatic refers to the body, while archaeology refers to the study of ancient cultures through examination of remains. The two words together denotes the capacity to excavate familial and cultural memory imprints buried in the body. When we facilitate healing in ourselves and others, Ms. Gibson says we look to the soul of the body to tell the story of our shared neurological fields and how relationships influence us, inform us, and affect us in both a genetic and energetic or spiritual sense, providing a narrative for the shadow and the light, the forgotten and the acknowledged. Our bodies then become wise, benevolent, sacred, and revered, spiritually infused temples of knowledge and memory keeping. I love the image of the six-pointed star that unites the above and below in balance. Balance, equilibrium, homeostasis in reference to a body, is the underpinning foundation of our concept of justice, equality, equity. A star is also two forces: gravity, the inward pull toward itself, or the feminine, and the outward push in the form of nuclear explosion, or masculine. Too much of either one can create a black hole or a supernova, respectively, but in balance, the star shines, providing life-giving light and warmth. Life is profoundly meaningful, a celebration of being. The universe, the one song that we all have a part in creating. The birds, I notice when I go outside, and the symphony that I hear is not that they're competing, it's that they're each laying in their own song. And they'll come in, the cardinals, the sparrows, the wrens, and then the woodpeckers. They all have their own little part to play, and it's beautiful. Another author, Tommy Orange, an author of There, had written a blog called To Stand Now is to Tell Our Stories. Tommy is of Arapaho and Cheyenne heritage and is from Oakland, California. His book is a novel about a convergence of stories and experiences of being a Native American living in the city. He facilitated a workshop called All Together Now to give people from his community a chance to come together and tell our stories from a lesser-known corner of the civil rights movement. After all had told their very moving stories, he says, of difficulty and triumph, hope, struggle, and inspiration, he says, by the time we finished, there was a strength and a weight in the room, which I felt empowered and humbled by in equal measure. The sun had set, stories had been told and told well, and there was a feeling not unlike being amongst family in the space, a commonality that seemed to transcend our apparent differences. There was love there. I would say not unlike the feeling here in this sacred space where our stories are told.
We're going to do our spiritual communion now, if you will. Close your eyes. Join me in the sacred grove on the land not so far from blesses us, each one. Turns to go back to the sun. We give our grateful thanks. Amen. When the night melts away, life lives a changing shade. Wind sings, spreads its wings. Life opens to another day. This is the golden hour. This is the golden hour. Again the shifts they change. Owls arise, coyote cries, and the songbird makes haste. Back to his nesting place. This is the golden hour. This is the golden hour. We can find the legs to stand. Be not afraid to fall. But if things don't go as planned, head up, shoulders back, stand tall. This is the golden hour. This is the golden hour. We slip into uneasy peace. Don't know what to do. Smile for your brother and sister too. The sun shall see you through. Into the golden hour. This is the golden bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. The Lord lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. Amen. Let